Right. Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Good evening to the YouTube visitors, YouTube viewers. Good evening to the normal, regular Facebook crew. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the jam. It is exactly 8 o'clock. We're getting better. So we're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook, and everything in a gear, and we're gearing up to go. I liking that statement, gearing up. I'm gonna use gearing up a lot from now on. And I'm gonna say it with vigor. Gearing up with vigor. Vigor is the next word that we don't use enough. We need to start using that word more. Special good evening to Kamala Ramdath. She's doing a lot of good work outside there, and I want to acknowledge her for that. Good evening, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the jam. Now we started early. Let your people know we're here. Yeah? Let them know we're live and we're inside. Start the bacchanal. Give them something.
Yeah.
I want to know what the volume sounding like. Share the video. Mr. Kendall Baggy boy, I see you for a while.
He promised the fire next time. And who ain't there, the bad wounded, who ain't there, bad wounded, who ain't there, the bad wounded, who ain't there,
badly wounded.
You're mocking pretender, and your lyrics and I'm confidence you. Far too long, you're fooling the children.
Filling their head with brainwash education.
Say reach pipe and you repeat, cause the children coming to take back the beat. The power of the word in the conscious styling. Giving the way for a brand new morning. The power of the word in the rap so styling. Rocking the roots of the vampire system. Talk it all, you monkey pretender. Talk it all, you bloody deceiver. Talk it all, you servant master. Talk it all, you friggin' oppressor.
Give me some volume on the song. Give me some volume on the song. Not the song, the song. Voice levels, music levels.
Right down to the heart of the matter. Desire go bust and reality scatter. He promised the fire next time. He
Promise the fire next time.
He promised the fire next time. And who ain't there, the badly wounded, who ain't there, badly wounded, who ain't there, the badly wounded, who ain't there, badly wounded. Talk your talk, the mocking pretender. Check the lyrics and I'm confidence, you're far too long. You're fooling the children, filling their head with brainwash education. Doomsday reach, and you retreat. The children coming to take up the street. The power of the wood, conscious styling. I say the power of the wood, the rap so styling. Rocking the roots of the vampire system.
Rocking the roots of the vampire system on the inside. Are you ready to rumble? We're doing this. We have housekeeping to do. Wazim Daniel. And I start my video, Wazim. I start my video calling your name. Wazim Daniel has done 2 live videos that I have seen where he has offered to bury the hatchet. With me, Wazim, we good, brother. We go back too far, too long. My distance with you was because of your association with Corned Beef Man. But you and I, we still good, brother. You have a good heart. I know you have a good heart. Even when Corned Beef Man had telling lies about me, I knew you have a good heart. And like anybody else who have interest in working together for a better Trinidad and Tobago, brother, my hand done outstretched. I will meet you more than halfway. I will meet anybody more than halfway. So Wazim Daniel, I want you to know, Claire, you hear it from me. We good, bro. We better than good. You don't have to stress about that at all. I want to limit the amount of feeds taken off of the Wi-Fi. Please share up the video. It's Wednesday night. You know, I see me again, well, tomorrow, I guess, 11 o'clock. Those of you who tune in to the show on 104.7 with me and Robert Avar. Thursday night show, if we do a show, it's be late, it's be 9 o'clock. Let's catch a different crew. Too much to talk about, had to come on. Akil Camps, boy. That is a tireless tireless soul there. Now listen, there's some housekeeping that must be done. And that is Progressive Empowerment Party and all the people that build in the party. Because I had to tell them every Wednesday we have a campaign meeting. Parties have, that parties work like it's a full-time job, you know. Anyway, in the Wednesday meeting just now I told them, I said, I know that I am brilliant at what I do. I am very, very good at what I do. But without that party and all of those people, without Dilworth and Anne-Marie and Felicia and Shari and Sean and Tony and Debbie Lee and the crew, Sarah, without Rohan, without the entire party, and that's just a handful, I just grabbing names and I throwing it at you. Kenneth, I mean, we have some people tireless, and no matter what you throw at them, and you see the Progressive Empowerment Party team, that is what puts the wheels on the ground, and without them, it's just me making noise every night. And I want to acknowledge Lorena and Anil. We have two Anils. We have Anil in Canada and Anil in Trinidad. I don't know which one has worked harder. Andrew John, we're missing you. We're missing you. You gotta find yourself back home. Dave Lux, I don't know Dave, my man of business, working hard right now. He had no time to come and talk nonsense. He leave all the ladies. You leave all the ladies to wonder what's going on with Dave, the girl them sugar. Dave, you had to come back. Dammy Edwards, Dammy, you're missing in action. The twin Rudys, Rudy Curry and Rudy Paul, those guys, when they speak, I listen. Brilliant, brilliant men. This party, Dawn Corinne Henry, I tip my hat to you. She's a new member, but boy, she's brilliant. She's brilliant. And she had to confront somebody the other day who sent her a private message, bad talking me, and she put it out in the public space. She said, defend it. Don't bad talk the man, defend it. And when she put it out, I realized a man whose daughter profile picture is she hugging up and kissing Patrick Manning. So, oh gosh, man, you must not like me. You must not like me because we're rocking the roots of the vampire system. The vampire system that owns and operates two political parties in Trinidad and Tobago and is launching a third. It's making a pact with the devil. We're going to deal with that. But the vampire system, the parasitic oligarchy, Mr. Big and his crew, you all know these names. Those two parties, the PNM and the UNC, no matter how they pretend, no matter how they stunt, they're fighting to eat on the table. But they still do the work of the same parasitic oligarchy. They do the work, both of them, even if they're not working together. They do the work and the bidding of the vampire system. Understand. No matter how you twist it, no matter what you do with it, no matter how you undo to turn it around, to rewrite history, you cannot change the fact that $3 trillion missing. You cannot change the fact that for the 56 years since the Queen left, the country get worse. You can't change that. You can't hide the sun, you can't hide the moon, you can't hide the stars. You could close your eyes. But those things still there. Facts don't leave. Manning, Kamala Rowley. You see Kamala calling up with name now because she have to try. She had sent all them little Patong, Marcia Brave Boy, Alan Karim, this clown Kim Cole, all them little Patong, and they're not damaging the PEP. They hemorrhaging members, and we got to deal with that. So she had to call up our name herself in Monday Night Forum and say all our members can fit in a maxi. Honey, asking you for the world to hear. Comes, baby girl, between me and you. You wouldn't pay attention to a political party if all its members could fit in a maxi. You don't talk about AOI. You don't talk about NAR. You don't talk about MSJ. You don't even talk about COP, who you were in bed rolling around and romping with. You don't talk about Samuel Stafford Party. You don't talk about Inchan Party. You don't even talk about PACT. CNC3 Sabga News Network tripping over themselves to talk about PACT. You don't even talk about PACT. We're talking about PEP. And all our members could fit in a maxi. Kamala, let me tell you something here, girl. You're a nice person. The you that I know, you're a nice person. I want to share some information. This is just a running thread on the blogs. that speaking about Kamala attacking us, this have nothing to do, none of these people are agents of the PEP. Hear this. I am completely bemused at the most recent comments by opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissessar with regards to third parties and the UNC. However, before I delve into those comments, I wish to state that I am in complete agreement with her statements relating to Michaela Pandey. This upstart in politics, trading on the proud name and antics of her father, is hardly worthy of mention in serious or even jocular conversation, and Mrs. Bissessar is correct to dismiss the likes of her in a most cavalier fashion. Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar should trace her rise to political leadership in this country. It is a well-known fact that she was cajoled into fighting for leadership of the UNC in January 2010 by no lesser persons than Jack Warner and Gypsy Peters. They sensed the growing unpopularity of Basdio Pandey, who had clearly outlived his shelf life. Victory was easy to come by, even to the initially reluctant Persad-Bissessar. As fate would have it, Patrick Manning provided the country with an opportunity to exhale, and the opposition forces rallied to promote Kamala as leader and ultimately the next prime minister. It must be said that she displayed no leadership skills or vision to be prime minister, but with the unity of Winston Dukran, Errol MacLeod, and McCandle Dagger, the Faizabad Accord led to victory. Fast forward to 2018, with more than 6 electoral defeats to her credit, Kamala Persad-Bissessar declares to a bunch of sycophants that the UNC could win elections alone and that she will not be falling for third-party tricks. To her eternal shame, Kamala underhandedly destroyed the partnership government and has never even bothered to apologize for turning this country into a PNM wasteland. She has never explained how she was able to lose 11 seats and more than 100,000 votes, but she crows about third parties which put her in power. I say to her, using her own words, "Get behind me, Satan." That's from Meg Mohammed in Tunapuna. They're done. Because I have the list. I have Kamala list of who she talking about and promoting. Them going and win election. Eh? They're going and win election. Here who going and win election for Kamala. You can laugh. You can laugh at this list. When this man sent me this, I laugh. And it's just to freaking find it, as usual, my phone is always full of the whole world. So my phone, my Facebook, my messages, everything. So give me a couple minutes to give you this, because you need to hear it. Government hosts major energy event. It's broadcast live on major TV stations. Reporters invited, but not their cameras. Cameramen kicked out by Hyatt, following instructions from government. Why doesn't the government want the cameras at this event? Inquiring minds want to know. I want you to hear this though, because you're gonna laugh. People from Morva, Lavendale, Bethel, and Sealots are calling me to come and hold events in their constituency. And I've said yes to all, because this country can't fix until we treat with Morva, Bethel, Lavendale, and Sealots. And who tell you different, lie to you. My God, I'm sorry about this. I'm sorry about this, because I wanted to get this today. Mr. Bola, send me back the listener, man. My whole WhatsApp is a mess of messages. And I'm trying to find this, because I wanted you to hear this so bad. In the middle of what I'm telling you here, don't get bored. Don't get bored. It gets sexier as minutes go by. It gets sexier, believe it or not. And I'm not just talking about me. I'm talking about, I wonder if I should play music while I'm doing this. Or they want music, or they just want me to handle my stories. Handle your stories for them. Don't get distracted. You know you can't whistle and walk. The following are some of the political heavyweights who have been chosen to contest general election in 2020. This is no joke. This is who Kamala feel coming out from behind the Caroni Bridge in the East-West Corridor. Gerald Ramdin, Glenn Ramadas Singh, Anita Haynes, Khadija Amin, Jerlyn John, and somebody named Saddam Hussein. This had to be a joke. They said Dr. Punani getting the axe. I think that's Fuad Khan. Ravi Ratiram for Tabikit, and someone recommended by Brent Sancho for Shagonas. That is not, Kamala, that is not a team. That is the past. And we don't want the past. Trinidad fire, Kamala. They fire 11 times. As if that wasn't enough. Like a TNT Kim Jong-un, she want only sycophants. Similar to Rowley, whose sycophants bar the cameras from the energy thing at the Hyatt. All fluff, no substance. Then you have a bunch of backward swamp people who are obsessed with Pandey versus Kamala, as if we are going back to a 2010 UNC leadership elections. Pandey and Kamala are history, no longer relevant to politics in TNT in the future, and those who are still fighting the Pandey versus Kamala battle should be ignored, for they are also history. They are Neanderthals, whose world is defined by Pandey versus Kamala. Rumshop illiterates who have been left behind while the world has moved on. These sycophantic tribal UNC and PNM supporters who are loyal to Pandey, Kamala, Rowley, Williams et al. Should lift their heads from the fetid mud and recognize this is 2018, not the last century. I just gave you something from the blogs. Guardian and Express are sharing this, you know. Massa Media and Samton News Network and letting you see what the real people talking. But I telling you, because the blogs is where all them letters and the editors come from. But it's pick and choose. Time and again, Fuad Khan has advanced the idea of exhuming the politically dead of the past, but has forgotten to include Bades, Capaldeo, etc. in his suggestions. Fuad shows that he is no political tactician, and for once, Kamala is right in her rejection of his foolishness. On the other hand, Kamala shows how naive she still is, believing that the pick-up-and side of young non-entities she surrounds herself with could return the UNC to power. Has she asked herself or anybody if anybody would go out of their way to listen to any member of this pick-up side she now surrounds herself with, let alone leave their homes and go vote for? Ma'am, there are a lot of young people in this country with recognizable names, faces, and achievements who you need to source. If young would mean more than something chronological, as you obviously understand it, anybody within a certain age bracket and with political ambition would return the party to its glory days when it was a real political force. You might be a lot of things to your sycophants, but one thing you are not is being a judge of charisma and of understanding how the party needs persons with some kind of national profile and not an assembly of political OJTs. If the thousands of non-sycophants on the outside would even bother with all of your bombas and not Stoops and Hawk and Split when they hear it. Listen, I gotta stop. I gotta stop because Guardian Media, Sabga News Network gave Kamala words for Kamala to say that the PEP membership small. Kamala, again, to close with what I opened with. If the Progressive Empowerment Party wasn't bothering you, girl, you'd have never mentioned it. But the Chinese have a saying, it is not the mountain in front of you that brings you down. It is the stone in your shoe. And trust me, red crapo, yellow crapo, same handful of salt. We go in again. We go in again. And we have to, because they have things they have to address. And my partner, Richard Blaze, for all of my adult life, I have known Richard Blaze. And he is a guy whose advice I seek out. Brilliant, brilliant, critical thinker, Richard Blaze. But Richard and I were going to have a little disagreement. A pact, PACT, is a formal agreement between individuals or parties. An agreement, covenant, or compact, according to dictionary.com. A formal agreement between two people or groups of people, Cambridge. A pact is a formal agreement between two or more people, organizations, or governments to do a particular thing. That is Collins English Dictionary. A formal agreement between individuals or parties. All of that is the definition of pact. A political organization, and I'm going to give this some attention because Massy Media and Sabga News Network giving pact some attention. Now, you know what? It's all your media. It may be our bandwidth and our right to read. But stick up in. You know what? Ramage, you pick and choose who you want to promote. Ignore the 40 Saturday meetings that the Progressive Empowerment Party had last year. Ignore the 13 public rallies that the Progressive Empowerment Party had last year. Ignore the 2 well-attended protests outside the parliament that the Progressive Empowerment Party had last year. Ignore the first anniversary rally in Chaguanas, well-attended. Ignore that. Ignore, we just had a public meeting in La Joqueta, Talparo. Ignore that. Ignore that every Saturday we are standing room only in Stanmore Avenue. Ignore that. But promote pact. No problem. Do your thing. Ramage. But the same people, Fazir and all the other media, who have a litany of questions for the Progressive Empowerment Party and can't wait to ask them, how you is political leader? How come you is not interim political leader? You had an election, we having an election, no problem. But you're broadcasting pact all over the place and nobody in the country know who involved in pact. They don't sign their releases. Not a name has been linked to the party. But you've publicized their public launch. Ironically, they made a pact with the country to have a public meeting as their launch on March 10th. Ironically, coincidentally, for what is? The same exact date that we had our public meeting in La Joqueta Talparo. These things happen. People double book. And all it was hitting the ground in a Panyan in PT Valley as your public launch. We public launched in Stanmore Avenue, sellout crowd. We had 250 chairs and all were full, and we had people all in the street. So we know we had at least 300 people. Yeah? I'm coming back to you in a minute. Give me one good minute there. Because we gotta get everything in a gear, you know. We can't let them get away. Sorry, when the viewers on the thread getting distracted by anybody who trolling, as have to interrupt the troll, just block them for the duration of the show. I'm going to let them back after, so you all forget the Nyan talk. Let's focus on what we're talking about. Because we're talking about a pact. Now I want to tell you, I want to show you something here. Fortuitously, they were having their public launch on the same day we had telegraphed a month ago, before Rowley announced he was going to La Joqueta. We announced we were going to Brazil. Oakland Recreation Club, and he jumped the gun. No problem. You have the PNM, you have the government, you have the treasury. You could do your thing. Jump the gun, rush in. All you announced, all your public launch on the same day as the Progressive Empowerment Party. Run in. No problem at all. You telegraph your position one time. That is utter disrespect. Now, again, all the media has been able to say, because I have the third release from this party, the PACT, Party for the Advancement of Civil Transformation. Apparently, one of the things that need transforming civilly in Trinidad and Tobago is that you shouldn't be signing any documents. Because these people putting out releases in the Progressive Empowerment Party, you know who's our political leader, we have two deputy political leaders, chairman, deputy chairman, PRO, membership officer, research officer, PEP media director, social media manager. All you know these people's names. They're on the threads every night. You know who is the Progressive Empowerment Party. To this day, we don't know who in the pact. All I hear is one name, David Fraser, who I met working for Jerry Hadid in the UNC. That is the only person I know. Now I hear the pact send a message that Peter George Jr. in it, and that they have a war chest of money. If you have a war chest of money, how did your public launch, your first meeting, your pact with the nation, your first pact, how did that end up getting cancelled? If you have a war chest of money, and the media said some strong names, that wasn't enough people to meet in a panyard in Petite Valley and have your launch. You telegraph it for a month before. You had enough time. I just come from a meeting where these same people, our events coordinator, Debbie Lee Jaikaran, show me an entire timeline. We in Port of Spain, we in Couva, we in Belmont, we in Sawa, we in Princestown. She have the next 5 months of events planned out. While I am there, the chair of communications meeting with the head of PEP media to plan how we cover it. We have a head of security. All of those people have a role and responsibility, and we have no money. We begging for money every night. Every night. Hear me. We don't have a bucket for money. They don't have a war chest. They say $30 million is the number here. If you have $30 million packed, surely you could afford to hire a PRO. You could get some one of them names to sign the name. All the media has been able to do is track down people who say publicly they had nothing to do with it. Because apparently they're talking to all of the floating names. The Michaelas, the Penelope Beckles, the Mariano Browns, the Conrad Enels, the Stephen Cadises, the Vassan Barretts. They want to bring to you, using their war chest of money, an assemblage of names. But that doesn't work. And if you follow football at all, and you watch the football clubs that end up with a war chest of money, that go out and buy all the biggest names, they don't win nothing. They win a couple games, but they don't win no leagues. Because that's not how you do it. But you know what? All you assemble your B team. That's not a problem, because if the UNC spit them out, and the PNM spit them out, they come together and they make a pact. That's a pact to be concerned about. But I'm wondering if there's a pact to the devil, because it looked like the devil stepped back. How could you, in good conscience, pact David Fraser and whoever else is in the pact? How could you, in good conscience, with your $30 million war chest, steal and paraphrase the Progressive Empowerment Party's slogan that we say 1,000,000 times a day? The Progressive Empowerment Party's slogan is one people under one flag. Pact slogan is one country, one flag, one people, one republic. Come on, man. Come on. We welcome you all into the Gael. Come in. But if you have a $30 million war chest, why copy and paste our slogan? Why? Why? And I have to do this. A release was put out, making me question if the original release to announce your public launch was a farce. And it was to distract, like Kim Cole was to distract, and Fazil was to distract, and all this bullshit. Distract the public from the Progressive Empowerment Party, because the oligarchy that controls all of this, that has stolen the $3 trillion of this country's money, they do not want a political organization that is willing to give its policies to the people free of charge, that is willing to stand up against all of the nonsense. It is they that are backing all of this, all of these organizations. Here it is. Postponement, relocation of packed meeting carded for Saturday, 10th March. That wasn't just any meeting, bro. Friend, whoever there, whoever listening, that was your launch. If you cannot, with your $30 million war chest, if you cannot keep your launch, maybe politics is not for you. To the PEP members, Anthony and the rest of the crew, trolls will come, trolls will go. Do not engage them. Do not engage each other over trolls. Let it slide, because you will distract the other viewers. Do that for me, please. Come back to this. You're packed with the people, because I remember when they planned the launch of the Progressive Empowerment Party, when Kaifa Modest and Ian Griffith and Harry Hunt and Anne-Marie Dulal, when they met and they planned the first meeting of the Progressive Empowerment Party, we were so busy. We were getting logos done and jerseys printed, and we was so much to do that I didn't realize that the date that they booked, and they said in the meeting, we planned it in November, I think, that the date they set for the meeting, January 17th, was my birthday. And I wasn't paying attention to that. And it's only closer to the time that I realized that we're having this meeting on my birthday. And January the 17th, 2017, the morning of January 17th, 2017, Kaifa and I, my birthday, spent that entire morning in Piarco Airport trying to get Anthony Mirage. Stick a pin, bro. Stick a pin. You're distracting people. Me and Kaifa, we spent that morning in the airport. It took about 6 hours to track down the shipment of PEP jerseys, and we weren't leaving without the jerseys because it was our launch that night. So we there, and we coordinated with people who making sign, and people who making banner, and people who was talking with this one, and people who's organizing with that one. And we coordinated that from in the airport, not even the brand new fancy airport, we in the old Piarco Airport, because that's where the air shipments come through. And we there, and we coordinated everything to go forward for the meeting that night. If I had a $30 million war chest, my employees would have been there. I was there personally, loading van, getting ready for the meeting tonight. My entire day. I wasn't taking birthday calls, happy birthday, I'm getting calls, but I ain't taking it on. Because we had our launch of the Progressive Empowerment Party carded for the 17th of January 2017. We told the country, and people had planned to come. And if we couldn't have that meeting, how the hell we could run a country? If it was impossible to have the meeting, so no matter what, brother, no matter what obstacle came up, we got over it. And we made sure that that meeting happened. Please be advised that the PAC meeting, the PAC cottage meeting, carded to come off on March 10th, 2018, has been postponed. Friend, you're done before you start. You're done before you start. The media was able to say Mariano Brown, Conrad Enel, Louis Leasing, and others have said publicly they have nothing to do with this party. This is their third release to date, and not one person has signed it. The only person, nobody knows. The only name that we have is David Fraser. I know David Fraser from doing a TV show with Felipe Noguera, working for Jerry Hadid, when Jerry Hadid was Minister of Communications for the UNC, for the People's Partnership. And that's the only name still that call it. But nobody to this date, all of these releases that the media, the disgusting media, because they're disgusting, because 40 week meetings, 13 public meetings, and 2 publicly well-attended protest that the media didn't cover for the Progressive Empowerment Party, despite being invited, despite getting pictures, video, and text sent back to them. But they want to broadcast for PACT, and they're not asking a question, who could be running this party? It don't matter to them, because they know. And their job is mind control. We'll address that. We are heartened by all the responses we have received to date about our Diego Martin Cottage meeting carded for Saturday 10th March at 2 p.m. at Valley Harps Panyard in Pity Valley. You use that word carded twice. And I am a communications guru, and I want to tell you what that meant. It was never planned. The meeting was never planned. That release that was sent to Sabga News Network and Massy Media, that release that was supposed to blow up WhatsApp and social media, that PACT launch carded for that cottage meeting in Pity Valley was supposed to be a distraction from the Progressive Empowerment Party, and you failed. We have been reliably informed that the venue will not be suitable for this proposed cottage meeting, as gauging from feedback, it is expected that there would be a bigger than planned turnout, and as such, we must get another location better suited. Now, that entire paragraph is unmitigated bovine excrement. Take it from the top. We have been reliably informed. From who? You booked the venue. You booked the venue. You could have gone to that venue saying, we anticipate a crowd between 300 and 500 people. You can hold that good. It's a panyard. But what happens if it becomes 5,000 boys? They spit out the road, they climb up in the trees, they go up on top of the roof. Because you have no control. If 10,000 people show up at PEP meeting Saturday, fishes and loaves, like Christ and the side of the water, we will find a way to deal with them. You can't just say, somebody call you, hey boy, looking at the crowd going to be big, cancel the event. Who does that? It's a political party. You're launching a political party. If you are launching a political party and you gauge for 300 to 500 people and 5,000 come, oh my God, you win already. You win already. You win already. Who cancels an event because the crowd will be bigger than expected? We must get another location better suited. Again, 24 hours before our January 17th event, our t-shirts were in an airport in Canada. And there was no way to get our t-shirts here. 24 hours before, we were having problems with our venue, and we had to renegotiate. 24 hours before, we didn't know where we were getting the money to pay for half the things that we needed. And nothing stopped the Progressive Empowerment Party. And Ian Griffith worked magic, and they worked together, and the lady who organized the t-shirts, they worked together, and they made sure that those shirts were in Trinidad the next morning. Trust me when I'm telling you this, eh? Trust me, I'm coming back to you now. Just give me 1 minute. Sorry about that. I just had to deal with any noise to keep it distraction proof. We'll come back to you now. By the following lunchtime, the next day, we had everything organized. We had everything but lights. And the stage that we planned couldn't work. And it was launching at 6. And at 5:30, Kaifa and Ian and the DJ and the music man strings of wire to twist bulbs. It looked real pretty, but it wasn't planned. We couldn't use the stage that was organized. Change the plan, work it out. But we didn't cancel and we didn't postpone, because we had a pact with the nation. We had a pact with the people who was coming, and I want to expose this, because I want to expose it for one reason: for the nastiness of the media, who chose to pick and choose in your democracy who you get to know about. And they want people to know about this non-entity party with a $30 million war chest. But you mustn't know what's going on in the PEP. This became necessary. So, wait. We must get another location better suited. $30 million war chest. And you can't pelt out at $10,000 and rent Center of Excellence. You can't pelt out at $15,000 and rent the stadium. You can't rent Jean Pierre Complex. You can't rent the new stadium Rowley just built in Diego Martin. You can't rent a space and a place, St. Anthony's College Grounds, St. Joseph Convent Grounds, St. Mary's College Grounds, Fatima College Grounds, all these places that are for fet. They're taking that money now. This is dead season. They may see in that. Give me a 5,000 and go. You have $30 million in your war chest, and all them people who are supposed to be in that party. And you couldn't get another venue? Miss me with that. This became necessary to be able to better accommodate the many persons expressing a keen interest in fact, and reinforces our belief that there are many like-minded, concerned citizens who want Trinidad and Tobago on the right track and who are willing to come out to look for an alternative solution. Clearly, they are willing to come out. Why didn't you have the event? Why didn't you have the event? If all of these people are so interested in the pact, why didn't have the event? Fooling people. This by itself is extremely heartening as it proves we have not given up. That's a laugh. This release is you giving up. This release is you failing for your public launch. This release is you admitting with no signature that you can't do the work, that you can't even coordinate a political meeting. You can't even coordinate a political meeting. That's the truth. You can't organize a political meeting. But you want to run the country. You are the only people who express that interest, that nothing's changed. We will communicate as soon as we can about the next meeting venue, along with date, time in the event that there are any changes. That doesn't make no sense at all. As of this release that you put out, what's the date? Does it have a date? Does it have a date? It have no date. It have no signature. Who put this out and when? Harry Hunt shared it 10 hours ago. Saturday was supposed to be a launch. You didn't launch. As of today, with your $30 million watches, you can't find a venue yet. Or was this a stunt to distract people from the Progressive Empowerment Party? We are intent on offering a difference while embracing our differences. Well, that is high-class jackassery. Because the only difference you bring to the conversation is that you could stunt like the rest. One country, one flag, one people, one republic, one grand waste of time. Steering Committee, Party for the Advancement of Civil Transformation. Gregory White, if you are in truth and in fact involved in the pact, calling you out. David Fraser, calling you out. Felipe Noguera, by extension, calling you all out. Because this, that, and this, you're a gambler. You're a sure gambler, because I want more parties, not less. I want plenty more parties. I want to undo this nonsense that the PNM and the UNC entitled to control who voted for what. And if you're black, here's PNM. And if you're Indian, here's UNC. I want that gone. I want that dead and gone. So the more parties that come, the better. The better. But if Sabga News Network and Massy Media choose to give you news on a party that they don't know who is involved in the party, but give you nothing on the PEP, I have a problem with that. If they broadcast in all of their information about when they're planning to plan, because they're planning to plan, they execute nothing yet, but you boycott 53 PEP meetings and 2 protests, I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that. And I will stand up and I will say, I have a problem with that. Truth of the matter is, this is not politics as usual. New wine, old tricks. The same nonsense from the UNC. Kamala talking, we go win alone. Kamala, you can't win nothing. You're going to get less seats in the next election. You can't get the same. You have nobody with you. Rodney Charles jumping to make up numbers. That was your campaign manager. The boy who used to carry your handbag and your scarf, what's his name? Barry Padarat. Barry Padarat is a member of parliament. Barry Padarat is a member of parliament. Only wasting people time. And the only reason, Trinidad and Tobago, that I have given this much attention to this is to show you that the media is just stunters. The media job is to distract people from the PEP. I, Philip Edward Alexander, will never go in another one of these stations. Again. The party have enough members, you'll get to meet all of them. We interact with 100,000 people a week on this live video. That is good enough for me. We will get past and get our message across. The rest of the party will go and meet with these stunters in the media, because we can't continue like this. Today a guy on a thread, and I was hailing out Kamala Ramnath earlier, because when she posted about the inefficiency of the country, a guy mentioned, well, there don't seem to be anybody else. And she said there's the PEP. He said, but I heard nothing from them about their policies on corruption. And I was able to share our policy document with him to the point where we're going to be having a conversation. I want to share it with you again, because this is the kind of policy and program that the Progressive Empowerment Party has been advocating from the first day it was launched. We didn't just come out and say, look, we came out with Reboot the Republic. We came out with Undo and Redo. We came out with a plan to rescue Trinidad and Tobago. And every time we've spoken since, it's just advocating this plan and waking the people up. Number 15, after this, I will add it to the thing again. If you do not have a copy, of our policy at a glance, we have 21 policies at a glance, which is a preview to Reboot the Republic, our manifesto due this year, right after the election. Public office reform. Make all public office holders accountable. Enact recall and termination legislation for instances of non-performance and misconduct in public office. Number 16, electoral reform. Cap election spending that disqualify candidates for breaches. Enact equal opportunity media law. Remove the $5,000 deposit currently required to contest an election. Candidates must reside within the constituency that they hope to contest. Let me tell you, see those 4 things change the whole game. If you say it's $100,000 per candidate per campaign, and a man spent $101,000 disqualified. So no more SIS and Ishan Steve and Calco and Junior Sammy and Sabga. No more sponsor your team. No more sponsor and drone the election. No more corn beef man acting on behalf of Jack Warner, buying up all the media, because you can't. You have a limit and a cap to your spend. An equal opportunity law for media exists in America. When Arnold Schwarzenegger was running for governor of California, the Federal Communications Commission sent out a letter to all media houses, and it said simply this: if you show any of the movies or television shows that Arnold Schwarzenegger appeared in, you have to give all of his opposing candidates equal time. So if you run Terminator, it's an hour and 40 minutes long, all his opposing candidates, his opponents, must get an hour and 40 minutes on your station. So for 6 weeks, no Arnold Schwarzenegger in the media. And if it's paid, you hear the following is a paid political advertisement. And at the end, you hear, I am Barack Obama, and I approve this message. And the reason for that is so that you know that that is an official message paid for by the campaign, so that when the accounting happens, if they say, but Barack only spent 15 million, he was only allowed 10, they say, we could show you what we pay for. And that's how a first world country runs an election. We don't do that here. Here, Jack Warner could spend $5 billion and bring goats up on stage and distract you with foolishness. Here, the UNC could spend money still, hiring buses, and the busman gets a $10,000 to fill the bus and bring back people. And whatever he do with that $10,000, we pay the people, if he give them juice and ham sandwich, whatever it takes to bring them to the meeting. So Kamala talking about we Maxi, but Kamala hold a real meeting and call the people. Call them, see who come. But wait, Dorothy, wait. Remove the $5,000 deposit currently required to contest an election. To all the people who want more independence in the parliament, stand for this. Because $5,000 is a lot of money for people who are not sponsored by the CALCOs and the SISs and the SABGAs. For normal, everyday activists, people who want to step up to the plate, $5,000 is a lot of money. And I know I ran for election as an independent in 2010 and lost my $5,000. Candidates must reside within the constituency they hope to represent. And I want to tell you, I cannot say this enough. If the member of parliament, if Maxi Coffee was living in La Joqueta Talparo, he would know La Joqueta Talparo problems firsthand. But Maxi Coffee, when he was not brain dead, knew Chancellor Hill problems firsthand. When Stephen Cadiz was the member of parliament for Chaguanas East and was living in Fairways Maraval or Highland Park, I can't remember which, but Colm Imbert was his MP while he was the Chaguanas People MP. And what going on inside the constituency, you don't know. So people are to come and line up. But if they have mosquito or traffic or crime or no water, you live in there, you know. People are to tell you. People are to tell you. When they have noise in the community, fed every 3 months by that bar, you know. You experiencing that jamming too. But when you far away, when Barry Padarat representing Naparima, but he living in Couva, you can't help the people. You can't help them. You can't represent them. Number 17, an end to corruption. You see how I came into it through politics first? Shut down all special purpose companies. UDCOT, Sport TT, EMBD, EFCL, all of them. Shut them down. And establish robust and transparent tenders processes that disconnects purchase decisions and contractual awards away from the political directorate. Kamala, pay attention, because I understand Monday night, you're starting to use PEP phrases. You're starting to use PEP policies. No problem. We will be able to show to the country that in none of your manifestos did you use any of those words. Did you use any of those policies? Did you have any of those plans until you heard it here first? We'll be able to show. So people will be able to tell what is real representation, what is more stunted. When you shut down the special purpose companies, you end the end run around the tenders process. Now, if the Minister of National Security, pay attention to this, I'm giving you one example, extrapolate it to any other purchase of any other contract. If the Minister of National Security wants to get firefighting equipment, fire engines, fire tenders, and he says, we have a shortfall, we have 12 fire stations that need fire tenders. An assessment must be done of the communities, because different communities, they have dense urban communities like Port of Spain South, and they have wide open areas like Mayaro, and they have places like St. Anne's that have up in the hills, Blanchisseuse and the North Coast that get bushfires. They have different types of equipment that you need for different places. Downtown Port of Spain, you need fire engines that could go and tackle fire in high-rise buildings. But they have no high-rise buildings in Mayaro, and they have none on the North Coast. So you don't need that there. So when you have a proper tenders process, the first thing that they must do is an assessment. So we need 2 with 4-wheel drive capability to go in the bush. We need 2 that can handle high-rise fires. We need 4 that can handle swamp conditions, whatever. And you make the list. And what they're supposed to do now, what they used to do, they used to write it in such a way that it limited to a certain provider. But now we know that that is corruption and fraud. If you have a tenders committee separate from the Ministry of National Security, the Ministry of National Security sends a request for 12 fire tenders to the Tenders Committee. The Tenders Committee puts out that request, local, regional, international. Usually, all the international companies already have representatives in Trinidad and Tobago. And all of those people, based on the tender that is put out by the Tenders Committee, not the Ministry of National Security, they will all tender. Now, based on what they get back, the Tenders Committee, which will be made up of a rotating board of professionals, retired judges, retired public servants, but it could be a panel of 3 to 5 people making a decision, and you have no idea who making up that panel for this tender, and it is not supposed to be public knowledge. That Tenders Committee, like a court, should have a courtroom where they could summon representatives of the agencies that would like to provide the fire tenders to the ministry, and the ministry could send their technocrats and cross-examine, ask questions. The Tenders Committee would have a points process: price, delivery, maintenance, availability of parts, all that kind of stuff, ease of use, professional. They're even going to rate the company that want to provide and represent. At the end of the day, that committee is going to look at 4 or 5 tenders from 4 or 5 companies and evaluate those tenders and award the contract. Unbeknownst to the minister, all the minister knows is that he's gotten his 12 fire tenders. He don't know from who, he don't know why, and he don't know how much, because that's not his business. So they have no corruption, no kickback, no bribe. So he have no reason to go out and buy 50 more police cars and go buy Toyota, or go buy Ford, or go buy whoever partner at the time. Now, the tenders process will do the job of identifying what is best suited for the job. End the text. That will end corruption in this country. No more mega contractors. Decentralize all public developments and maintenance works to constituencies, with all contractors and employees having to originate and reside within the constituency where the projects are to be done. So if you're going to build a bridge in Chaguanas West, you have to use a Chaguanas West contractor, and the Chaguanas West contractor has to use Chaguanas West people. And if you're going to build a pavement in Mayaro, you have to use a Mayaro contractor and workers from Mayaro. And if they don't have a contractor in Mayaro, and you have to bring in a contractor from some other constituency, because you have to prove that you don't have no contractors because you advertise for Mayaro. And with this system, all contractors will register and pre-qualify, so that you can, the supervisor of public works will always know if I need woodwork done, if I need masonry done, if I need road building done, if I need electrical done, if I need pipe work for water, whatever. He knows the list of people that have those as competencies, and he will send the request there. So you have a situation where no more one-man contractor, one-man minister of works spending $6.5 billion for the year with waste-of-time projects that we don't need. For example, Calco and Rohan Sinanan and the $400 million highway to nowhere that is raping the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We also propose sell all non-essential state companies and shut down all non-essential state boards. I want you to understand. Clear. I need you to understand this. I'll get this here, so I apologize. You need to understand this. All these policies and programs we put out here, we put it out so you know, and you can say that you know, to the people who make the decisions. At this point, that is the voter. I have to plug in a battery, a charger. The voter have all the say now. And with a knowledgeable, informed, educated, and empowered voter, politicians can't get away with bullshit no more. We propose a national plastic bottle policy to apply a tax to plastic bottles at manufacture or importation stage. Redeem tax for return of discarded bottles so as to encourage environmental cleanup, provide a ready stock of plastic material to road building and construction industries, and generate revenue for those least employable and most in need. That tax, that 25 cents on plastic bottles, when somebody throw that bottle in the river, a man gone and get that because the unemployable, the indigent, the dispossessed, this is a ready source of income for them. People will end up being able to buy themselves little van and thing, and whole week them on the churro and picking up bottles. So you have people who are unemployable right now employed by the state, because you could bring in 1 million bottles and get 25 cents a bottle. All of a sudden you're doing well. That's your work. And we will take those plastic bottles and grind them up into plastic pellets to be added to concrete for strength and to be added to road surfacing to reduce tire on pitch noise. Just those simple things. But you will make sure that Coca-Cola, Solo, Pepsi, Blue Waters, Water One, you will make sure that Nestle, all the people who are bringing plastic bottles into the country will take responsibility for cleaning up after themselves. And a policy like that will do that from employee to employer. This is number 40. Startup support for small businesses with demonstrated potential for success. You must be able to tell, based on people's projections and their banking track record, you must be able to tell if a business have some potential for success. Operational credit to assist with recurring expenditures of rent, electricity, and raw materials for approved projects, monitored by dedicated case officers, designed to achieve profitability in quick time. Let's say you manufacture now kurma, and you're making a real good kurma. There's somebody selling cashew nuts. I can't wait for when they powder cashews. Come in a cheap little plastic bottle, a cheap little one-color label, no problem. But it's sweet, and it's fresh, and it's not fried, it's roasted, and I love it. It's $75 a bottle, and I love giving them that sale. Kurma, I mean, I don't understand why kurma is not an export product. We export corn curls and cheeses and chocolate that the whole world have. But kurma, which is what we have, pawpaw balls, tulum, tambran, you do those things? Sugar cake, Trinidad, that's our thing. Why are we not exporting that? Why are we not giving those people the support they need to be able to grow their business so they could hire employees, so that their exports, their business could generate business for their suppliers? A Progressive Empowerment Party government declares a war on poverty. Make universal home ownership a reality and job creation a top priority. The reason you have those two things in one sentence is we say up to $1.5 million first-time homeowners, you should benefit from zero deposit, zero interest for 30 years, which will stimulate the economy and reduce crime and all of the social ills all at the same time. It'll give us an opportunity to shut down the HDC, which has been a source of shame and corruption to this country. And it will give everybody who has a job the opportunity to own a home. We promise starter homes, 11 and 1,300 square feet, 2 and 3 bedrooms, starter homes, $100,000. Easy. And let me tell you, at $100,000, if you are a minimum wage earner, you're paying $500 a month mortgage for the next 30 years. You are saving money. You have something to leave for the next generation, equity, or for your own retirement. All of these things are counterintuitive, simple common sense. I ask Trinidad and Tobago over and over, why has no government that we have ever had sought to look after our people? Why have they not made it possible for the average person to get ahead in Trinidad and Tobago instead of mashing them down? We propose to regulate the financial sector. Interest to be paid on depositors' funds at rates set by central bank. That is a reason for banks to operate. That is a term of the banking license. They're supposed to be paid interest on your money. And right now they're not. What they're doing is they're taking your money and charging your fees and eating up your money. And for the rich people who say, well, that's $30, that's $50, $100 in fees. A lot of people, $100 is a lot of money. Abolish all banking fees not compliant with terms of banking license. open the banking sector to international competition, cap the spread on foreign exchange. The difference between the prices for buying and selling foreign exchange, the spread, puts an unnecessary 10 to 13% tax on the national economy. Capping it to 3% would save billions of dollars in inflation and profiteering. Understand this. Everything that we consume in Trinidad and Tobago, unless it grows on a tree, is imported. Every single thing. Everything. Every part for every car, everything. Every item of clothes, because it's imported as cloth, whatever. Every single thing is imported. And you have to understand this. US dollars are sold in this country at a 77 cents profit. The banks apply a 77 cents tax to every dollar, to every US dollar. That is a 13% tax that nobody accounts for in the economy. There is a 13% increase in inflation in the value of what you are buying, simply because the banks are gouging and profiteering because the government doesn't regulate the financial sector. Just capping the spread to 3% will save the people of this country billions of dollars. Listen, we could talk this whole night. But you know now, there is a real political organization in this country that stepped up and is dedicated to making sure we put all those wrongs right. You have a responsibility. Your vote is what will take us from here to there. You get to decide the country we live in. You want a better nation? Register, join, get ready. An election must come, and we need you to do your part.
Your vote will decide our destiny. Your vote will decide what you want to be. Your vote can foretell our country's fate. But use it well before it's too late. If it is that who you're voting,
Fail beyond a doubt when you're voting.
vote them out. Vote them out. If it is to prove it,
To be only full of mouth,
when you're voting,
vote them out.
vote them out. If it is the time is now that
Change must come about.
just as how you vote them in,
Vote them out.
register and vote them out. If they don't see,
Vote them out.
state your finger and vote them out. Show them no mercy, vote them out. Vote them out with total scorn and utter disdain. Let's put our country together again. Vote them out of power to dominate their reign. Let's put our country together again. If for 30 years
You're voting them in. And it's only tears as soon as they win. They're giving big words to enslave your soul, promising you roads, and it's only potholes.
if they are the reason why the economy goes sprout,
When you're voting,
if it is the passing laws that them alone can flout,
when you're voting,
if it is the building eyesores,
east, west, north, and south. Do you know that all those buildings, including Kamla's Kuva Hospital, that they're fighting over to say, I build this and I build that, is the Chinese build it at 10 times the price it should have been built at? Do you know that Napa was approved at cabinet for $136 million, ended up costing this country $567 million? Do you know that the $1 billion that Kamla approved to spend for that Chinese hospital in Kuva could have built 10 hospitals in this country at $100 million? This is the madness that have been allowed to pass, and all they do is they come into office, make all these debts and go. Next man come in and pay the debt. And who they pay, who money they paying it with? Your money. At the end of the day, we owe the Chinese for Napa, Sapa, Tapa, Kuva, Taruba, all them buildings. We owe the Chinese for all them buildings in the billions of dollars. And they've spent Manning, forget the rest of the country, forget the rest of the 56 years. Patrick Manning, Kamla Prasad Bissessar, Keith Rowley have spent $720 billion between them. And we have nothing to show for it. The ceilings in the hospitals collapsing on the patients. Nobody in this country has a reliable supply of water. Nobody. Nothing works in Trinidad and Tobago. The licensing office is a mess. Health sector is a waste of time. Our education sector have our children becoming, as Keith Rowley says, wild hyenas from African jungle. Where are we going? If we continue like this, we will end up in a crisis. The country is in a mess. The Tobago economy has collapsed. There is no ferry in Tobago for the next Tobago for the next 11 days. You're going to ship essential supplies by air. Cal already cash-strapped. Cal in problems. Cal can't take the amount of passengers that need to move. The government of the day should be fired for what they did to Tobago. Anywhere else in the world, the country, the entire country shut down. The entire country shut down and say, we're not moving till we vote these jackasses out. And you have to understand that the responsibility for the condition of the country, the tone, tenor, timber, what passes for governance in this country is up to you. You have all the say because they work for you. No president, no prime minister, no police. Nobody is more important than the people according to the supreme law, the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago that speaks it all into existence. Understand this. If you get it for a minute, that the politics of race that they manufactured in this country to create a division between Afro-Trini and Indo-Trini that isolated everybody else, that made the politics about two parties and two base race votes. If you get past that, if we unite as one people under one flag, all the corruption done. If we unite as one people under one flag, we could put healthcare within 10 minutes of every emergency. If we unite as one people under one flag, we can clean up the police service. Somebody sent out an email today to police officers that you go vote for a party that come in to clean up the police. You hear the madness in this country. You hear the absolute insanity that, you hear what he's saying? You know, if you had help out a partner with a weed and a joint and you didn't give him a charge, them come in to fire you. That is bullshit. We come in to clean up the police service of the rogue and criminal elements. Of course, you're going to have to let some pass. You can't fire all the police. And not everybody is to blame. We live in a criminal enterprise. If you charge, if you make bribery a charge, you have to lock up the whole country. Because the entire country has been left with no choice but to pay a bribe to survive. So you can't charge people for being victims of a bribery gangster society. But you have to fix it, undo it, and redo it. And you have to make sure that the people responsible for it are brought to justice. But if you and we could unite as one people under one flag, home ownership for all, and affordable living, cost of living, affordable food, those things will reduce crime in this country on their own. If we got together as one people under one flag, the Progressive Empowerment Party guarantees you to shut down the nation's borders with the maritime security wall. That will end the drug trade. We are going to unstuff the containers on the ports. We are no longer interested in double speak and the double talk. And if OWTU want to march against that, or the public service want to march, they had a march. Because we have a responsibility to secure the nation. And there must be no more drugs, no more guns, no more human trafficking in Trinidad and Tobago. A Progressive Empowerment Party government, once we've secured the borders, would put a bounty on the guns that are here. $1,000 per gun, paid only to law enforcement officers. No more guns can come in. So the 30,000 guns that Rowley say here, $30 million set aside to pay for that. Pay that to police. Let police make that money. Work round the clock picking up gun partner. You're bringing 100 guns, look at $100,000. We need to run this country. And you can't have stunters and people playing hide and seek. You can't have political parties forming and you ain't know who in front or who behind. You can't have people going and sit down in the media and bullshit you. When they want to come and play this stunting, you need to have people that will stand up to their stunts and expose it. This is no longer a time for business as usual, the bullshitocracy to continue. This country, the people of Tobago right now tonight, they're in a crisis. People losing their homes, people losing their businesses, people have collapsed. The economy has collapsed. They're in trouble. Our brothers and sisters in Tobago. This is Trinidad and Tobago. Tobago in trouble. We can't continue normal and forget the people of Tobago, because you will want the people of Tobago to remember us if it was us. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, have a responsibility to each other. This Saturday at noon, 19 Stanmore Avenue, come out, bring the family, bring the friends, bring the neighbors. Come out in your numbers. Every Saturday at noon, 19 Stanmore Avenue, we meet the public. Open forum, come and add your voice, come and have your say. We are having an election, September the 15th, 2018, at 19 Stanmore Avenue from noon to 6. Eligible to vote, anybody who is a member of the Progressive Empowerment Party. If you are already a member of the Progressive Empowerment Party, you could run for any position. Chairman, political leader, deputy chairman, PRO, treasurer, those positions. Big positions up for grabs. But you have to already be a member of the party. We've been talking about this election a while now. So don't pretend that it's a real surprise. If you want to contest it, you should have been joining the party a long time back. Now, this inter-election, you have to already be a member. But you have 3 months to regulate your membership and you could vote. 3 more months to regulate your membership and you're able to vote. Come and be a part of the organization. Come and be a part of the fastest growing political party in this nation's history. Come and be part of the undo and the redo. Come and be part of the Orange Revolution, the Orange Army, the Orange Family. Come and be part of one people under one flag. peptrinbago@gmail.com is our primary email address if you want to contact us. 347-4PEP is the hotline. PEP app, PEP, available on all the app stores. PEP Radio is under construction. PEP Radio will soon, when it is launched, be available on your phone, on your laptop, on your iPad. PEP Radio will be available to you and you will be able to get constant news, updates, music, the works. We come in, PEP Media is a serious thing. And we're coming to bring you all the updates and all the information. PEPTT.com is our website. Check that out. That's always updating and constructing. And, well, this Saturday at noon, 19 Stanmore Avenue, bring the family and come. Thank all of you who are with us tonight. It's always a joy and a pleasure. So I hope you enjoyed it. And until I see you again tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock, as usual, every week, every Thursday, I am on 104.7 with Robert Amar. We bring it live, but you could tune in on 104.7 because what y'all don't hear on the live, unfortunately, because we hear it through headphones, is the callers. So it's 104.7. I'd like to say thanks to Robert Amar for that show that we have every Tuesday. Till I see you tomorrow, stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.